All right, welcome into the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. It is Super Bowl week. It means we got a lot of stuff to cover. It's a tradition for any sportsbook type activities to do prop bets. We will get into those. Welcome into the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. Justin Walsh returns this week. Jay DeCoster's here, and we have a brick wall joining us in Matt Merrifield. Jay Walsh, we'll just start with you. Welcome back. You obviously weren't here last week, so that was a shame, but you have returned for what's a crucial week for sports books.
Yes, feels good to be back. You know, it felt wrong last week not being on the show, and I just want to take this time to give a quick shout out to Newcastle United for making it to the final of the Carabao Cup, where they will meet Liverpool, and they could have met a certain Spurs team, but that apparently was not going to be the case. Sorry about that, Nick Burt, but just wanted to give that quick shout out to Newcastle United, and good to be back. Let's get it going.
You can tune in to Top the Perch for all my thoughts. I'm broken. This has been a week that's just it's almost over, thankfully. But that's so much fun today at work watching 4 goals conceded. So much fun. Jay DeCoster, let's hear from you. How is life in Chicago as you are getting ready to travel back to East Lansing for a game we will talk about quite soon?
I am ready to get out of the concrete jungle for a day or so. It's going to be kind of nice to experience land again. I'm going to be honest. I'm just sick of people right now. Just kidding. Yes, I'm ready. But we also got to talk about that game last weekend. That I wouldn't say glorious, but that was actually pretty fun to watch between Marquette and UConn, where Solo Ball dropped 25 on them on 7 of 10 shooting.
Jay, do you want to also add in that you were actually in attendance for that on National Marquette Day?
Yeah, that was that was so funny. Just the Marquette fans were just so angry, and they were so drunk at the same time, and there were a few old people behind us, and they were just complaining about the refs. And every time Marquette missed a free throw, the entire arena they put their head down. They were so angry, and it was disappointing, but also it was just it was pretty hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, just because Shaka Smart's a big time fraud. So it was Big East basketball at its finest right there.
Yeah, Jay, I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the largest attended Marquette game at the Fiserv Forum since it's been built. So that was really nice for UConn to ruin that. Very enjoyable for me, who watched 0 seconds of the game because I was working. And I infamously texted Jay DeCoster before the game, if I'm not watching, it doesn't count, because Marquette was a 9.5-point favorite. Well, guess what? I decided it counts now. So it is what it is. Let's talk to the brick wall himself. He was like that when he was a goalie when playing hockey. He's still a brick wall now. Matt Merrifield, how is life? I don't even know if you were a brick wall when you were a goalie, but hey.
Depends on who you ask. No, I was no Trey Augustine during my glory days. Shout out Michigan State hockey this weekend. Should be a glorious weekend of Michigan State athletics. Women's basketball plays Michigan as well on Sunday, so it is quite the weekend for Michigan State. Obviously, we have the basketball game on Saturday that you and Jay will be in attendance for, which will be absolutely glorious. But overall, everything's great. The Flint Firebirds are back. They're currently up 5-2 on Peterborough. So the trip to Rimouski is back on. And go Birds. Firebirds, Matt, not the Eagles.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that. You mentioned Michigan State athletics having quite a weekend, getting off to a very rough start in Tucson today, as the softball team has just lost to Arizona 15-0 in 5 innings. They will, as we're recording, they're playing again in 30 minutes. So that should be another enjoyable event for Michigan State athletics. But let's get into the actual sports that we talk about on this show. We're going to start off with college basketball. This slate, not great this weekend. Super Bowl weekend slate for college basketball. Usually never great. 2 games really stick out, though. One of them is on Friday night. It's $2 beer night at Gamble Pavilion. That place, it's going to be something, as the St. John's Red Storm, on their longest winning streak since the 1984 team that went to a Final Four, walks into Gamble Pavilion, take on UConn. Obviously, coming off that win against Marquette that we just talked about. Jay, we'll start with you because, I mean, we already kind of talked UConn basketball. I mean, this game, this is like vintage Big East going on Friday night.
Oh yeah, definitely. $2 beer night at Gamble. I mean, sign me up. I mean, that's gonna be a great night there. I mean, they're playing well. I mean, they played really well on last Saturday against I think Marquette's a good team. I don't think they're great. They're definitely not making it to the Final Four. I think they're very overrated, but UConn's kind of, maybe they're coming out at the right time here. Look, I mean, they got some really good guard play on Saturday. They're starting to, turn out at the right time. I'll take UConn in this game. St. John's is due for a loss here. They've been great this season. A nice win over Marquette on Tuesday. But I like UConn in the spot at home. I just think St. John's is kind of due for a loss here. St. John's they're kind of being that 3 or 4 seed area right now, but they are kind of due for a loss. Very dangerous team, but I will take UConn in the spot at home.
Matt, we'll go to you next. A lot of talk this week about Al-Qaeda, or Al-Qaeda, whatever you want to call it. A terroristic organization that is taking over the Big East. Are they going to play a factor in this game and make sure that St. John's walks away with the victory because they are the top team in the Big East right now?
Oh, 100%. And you would think that Brad Underwood and Illinois are a part of the Big East based on the way he talks about the officiating. And obviously they lost to a former Big East school, Rutgers, yesterday, even though he claimed the rack had no effect on the outcome of said basketball game, which I feel like that makes the loss look even worse for you, Brad. But there you are. You die on that hill if that's where you want to die. But in terms of UConn and St. John's, it's $2 beer night. Give me the Huskies. They have a big weekend. They have a matchup against New Hampshire, a bubble team in college hockey this weekend. So they have some important hockey business to take care of, but I think the basketball team takes care of business as well.
Matt, it is a huge weekend for UConn hockey. Obviously, last weekend did not help the pairwise rankings. It was a shootout victory and then I think a regulation loss against Providence. That's not the best of things you want to do if you want to be a 1 seed. They were never going to be a 1 seed. The dream was just, it was there for 2 seconds and it was fun to dream, but sometimes dreams have to die. And yeah, it's sad, but they're still on track for a tournament. I'm rambling on about UConn hockey now. Jay Walsh, we'll go to you. Your thoughts on this big matchup in the Big East.
I mean, this is definitely going to be a very fun game to watch. I mean, obviously, you've got 2 great coaches. Obviously, Dan Hurley coming off the 2 national championships, and then you've got Rick Pitino on the other side, one of the all-time greats. The things that I'm looking at in this game are a couple injury notes on UConn. It was announced earlier. Dan Hurley made it official. Liam McNeely will be back for this game. He will be limited, but he will be back. But UConn's top 2 point guards, Aiden Mahaney and Hassan Diarra, are both questionable for this game. So that's definitely something to look at. Obviously, Jay talked about against Marquette, solo ball was unbelievable. I think you said he had 25 points in that game. So it'll be interesting to see how he does if he has to run the offense without those 2. But as we've pointed out, it's $2 beer night. So it's kind of hard to go against the Huskies in that environment. So I like UConn in this one.
And it is kind of hard to, state, but over the past, I'd say 12 months, obviously, well, maybe longer, since Rick Pitino came back to the Big East with St. John's, it seems like since day one, like it was destined that he would have a rivalry with Dan Hurley. These 2 do not like each other whatsoever. I think they have a respect for each other, but like they do not like each other. it could get a little chippy on the sidelines for both sides come Friday. $2 beer night. That crowd's going to be, it's going to be something. I mean, it's always roll steez from me. I mean, you will never see me betting against Jonathan, the Husky, because I just won't. But if St. John's can win this game, that is absolutely huge for their tournament. Getting a road win on what would then be a 10-game win streak in this conference, which it's not the best this year, but getting a win against UConn, that very much spurs your hopes at getting a higher seed in the tournament. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this one plays out on Friday night. And that one's on Fox. It's their primetime hoops. Big noon kickoff of basketball on Saturday on Fox is the Michigan State-Oregon game. As mentioned, 3 of the 4 of us here currently will be in the Breslin Center for that. Jay Walsh, you are the one missing out. We've been talking about this for months. I don't know why you just didn't get a ticket randomly, but hey, it is what it is. Matt, we'll go to you first. Obviously, coming off the road trip to the West Coast, go 0 for 2. I'm pretty sure I said on this show last week, I'm pretty sure there's 0 chance this team can go 0 for 2 on this trip, and they did. How are they expected to bounce back this week against an Oregon team that I still don't think we know what they are?
I mean, Oregon, if I'm not mistaken, is still second in the nation alone in quad 1 wins, which I think is amazing. And that just goes to tell you how good of a November and December they had. I mean, I know they did really well in that PK, or not the PKI. They did the Players Invitation, or the hell it's called, out in Vegas, where they beat Alabama. So they picked up some big wins there. I think they're a good team, but they're, after like doing my prep this week, like Jackson Shellstad's not having as good of a year as you would think he would be having. He's only averaging 12.5 points per game. He's not even their leading scorer. That honors with Biddle, their big man, which I think will provide a little bit of a matchup issue. But if Jackson Kohler can stay out of foul trouble, which he wasn't able to do in the first half against UCLA, which was a big difference, I think Jackson Kohler, if he plays with the energy he played with against UCLA, they'll be fine. Truly, I know Xavier Booker is questionable with the flu, but I'm not worried about this team. I think back at home, this will be Oregon's 4th game in 10 days. And they, of the 4 games, they were at UCLA, at home against Minnesota, which they lost, and then in Ann Arbor, and another here. And they've been sitting around since Wednesday. I do not like Oregon in the spot. And they need a win badly, but I don't think they get it here. Good news is that they have an easy stretch to finish the season, but I think they lose a 5th straight, and I think Michigan State takes care of business.
Jay Walsh, we'll go to you next. I don't know if you watched much of that Oregon-Michigan game, but both teams very much tried to give that one away. I don't think either team wanted to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been Michigan's bread and butter pretty much the entire season, is they get very careless with the ball. They, at times, like you said, it looks like they're trying to give a game away. Oregon might be the most confusing team in college basketball, just simply because, as Matt said, I believe they are 2nd in the nation in quad 1 wins, but then they go out and they drop these games that are just complete head scratchers of, like, nobody really knows if they're good or not, which is a really weird thing to say for a team that has, I believe, 8 or 9 quad 1 wins. This is an interesting game because both teams kind of have their backs against the wall, obviously, with Oregon losing 4 straight and then MSU dropping both games on the LA road trip. MSU really needs a win here to stay in the, not necessarily the lead, but stay in that Big Ten title hunt with Purdue. So I do like MSU here at home. I think this is going to be a very tight game just because, like I said, both these teams are kind of backs against the wall right now. But I think the fact that this game is being played in the Breslin Center, combined with the fact that I think Izzo is not very happy with the team coming off those 2 losses. So I think they are definitely going to come out ready to play. I like MSU in this one.
Jay, we'll close out with you. Obviously, we on last week's show both were hoping that they would split the series in LA so that we could see Tom Izzo break the all-time Big Ten wins record. All we can do now is see him tie it with, obviously, if they win. I believe it would be Indiana at home is the next game, which feels fitting for him to break it against Indiana. We'll get into Indiana in a second because some news came out today. But Jay, your thoughts on this game on Saturday that you will be in attendance for with myself?
Yeah, I mean, Oregon, they're just like I said, like we talked about, great November stretch. They beat Bama. I think they beat A&M as well, if I'm not mistaken, or Mississippi State, one of those teams. But I mean, they're very careless with the basketball these last like 5 or 6 games, and they don't shoot the three well. It's just a bad matchup in this game against, a very good Michigan State defensive team. I would like to see MSU just they got to start shooting the ball better if they want to make some noise here. I mean, just if they want to do anything in March, got to shoot the ball better. And you need we talked about that they need a closer in these type of games. They gave it to Akins, he missed. I mean, I like that they went for the win there, but I want to see just more consistency from everybody because the big men, obviously, like Matt said, Kohler he showed a lot of fight. He played really well defensively, but just the big guys just aren't getting it done right now. Zapala, I don't know where he's been over the last 4 or 5 games. I wouldn't say I'm concerned. I'm not really worried, but this is a tough stretch coming up. You got Purdue. I mean, you take care of business against Oregon, but you got to go to Illinois. Like this is the test coming up here. So MSU will get it done. They'll win by like 7. I'm not worried about this game at all, really. Oregon's just been a bad basketball team the last month or so. But in terms of just the future of this team, just need to see more consistency out of everybody. And we'll see what happens. But with these games being really close, like who are you going to feed the ball to? So just something to keep in mind. I'm just interested to see how that goes along. So.
And Jay, what is the Tony Stubblefield factor in this game? I mean, we had to ask the question because what is the Tony Stubblefield factor in this game?
I don't know what he does on the sideline. I think him and Dana Altman will just get into a shouting match at the end of the game because he just has no idea what he's doing, and he definitely like he probably did nothing in the first 2 months of the year, and then just like tried to like be a coach. And, look where they're at now. So, gotta love him for just, doing what he does. Classic Tony right there.
Hey, I don't think he's prepared to face the Blue Demon. Oh my gosh. The Blue Demon degenerates on Saturday between me and Jay. I don't think he's prepared for that wrath because the Blue Demons are coming for Tony Stubblefield. I did say we'd talk about Indiana. Mike Woodson not coming back next year, which honestly is a true shame. He just needs a few more years to get his guys in. Same as Patrick Ewing at Georgetown. Just needed a few more years, guys. Jay Walsh, just quickly, your front runner for the Indiana job is who?
I mean, it's hard to say just because I think there's no question that if it were up to Indiana, Dusty May would obviously be the guy, but they had their shot to push Woodson out this past year and they didn't do it. I still think they're going to make a run at Dusty May. So I think he, as of right now, has to be the front runner, but I think it's going to be very hard for them to pry him from Michigan at this point. So honestly, I don't really have an idea of where Indiana goes from here. So
Jay, who's your front runner for the Indiana job?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be Dusty May. I don't think he would leave Michigan. But obviously, Indiana's the better job. But is he really going to leave Michigan for another Big Ten team? I think he likes Michigan. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I think he's building something pretty good there. I just don't see that happening. Oh God. This is great podcasting right here. Give me like a minute to think on this. We're going to go to Matt.
Okay. Well, Jay, just remember as you say all this Dusty May is an Indiana alum, so
Yeah.
like he may love Michigan, but
That's true.
coaching your alma mater, it would be something. Matt, as requested, we'll go to you. Your front runner for the Indiana job.
Well, personally, I hope they don't nab somebody that should be a future Spartan whenever Tom Izzo decides to hang it up. So no Mark Byington, please. No Porter Moser, please. But I honestly think I'd be okay if Indiana didn't get Dusty May, because I don't think Dusty May is the best coach that would be available anyways. I don't like Dusty May. I think his teams are soft. But I think Chris Beard is very much on the table. I mean, we saw what he did at Texas Tech, and then he got himself kicked out of Texas Tech. Or he actually left Texas Tech. He left Texas Tech, and then he got himself kicked out of Texas. And now he's with the Rebels, doing things and just being a pain in the ass with the SEC, and doing quite well in the SEC with an Ole Miss team that I enjoy to watch. So I think the opportunity for him to go to a basketball school, which he actually has never been at before, will he leave the South? That's the only thing. But I think if he gets that call, he has to pick up. And I think his buyout's relatively low. I was discussing this with a friend of the program and my roommate, who is born and raised Hoosier, Heath Barada, the squirrel in his zone. For those that may not know, so he is born in Indiana. His whole family went to Indiana, so he is very passionate about this, and he thinks that Chris Beard is the guy. So, fear the Beard, baby.
I will give my opinion before going back to Jay, because I can tell Jay has figured somebody out. I think
I have.
The next Indiana coach is currently coaching in the state. He's coaching an ACC team in the state. Give me Micah Shrewsbury. I know Matt would just love that. That's exactly why I said it.
Good fucking Lord. I did not think that was the in-state coach you were going to say.
Who do you think I was going to say? Thad Matta?
Yeah.
God.
Jay, please.
God. All right. Well, this is, oh God. I'm going to go Shaka Smart.
Oh God.
You guys hate that, but
shut the hell up.
Why? Shaka Smart would be, first of all, I mean, it's Indiana basketball.
He stinks.
Well, Indiana is not good at hiring good head coaches, obviously. So I think leaving Marquette for Indiana would actually obviously be a massive upgrade and a big pay raise. So I think Shaka Smart, if they don't really do anything this year, I think it's a possibility. Or Scott Drew, because Scott Drew has been kind of on the rumblings of leaving.
Very different answer.
It's just another coach I'm putting out there. So I'll go Scott Drew or Shaka Smart.
And Jay, why don't you just throw out Dan Hurley? Just throw him out.
Well, that is true. But Scott Drew is that there's been like rumblings. There's been rumblings. Yeah, exactly. Go get Coach K back in there. Hey, what about
Jim
you?
Steve Alford.
Make Tom Izzo say no.
Was a good WNBA coach.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Scott Drew's. There's been like rumblings of him.
Cody Zeller's not doing anything
the last couple of years. So,
Rick Pitino, the next chapter.
Jay,
exactly.
I have a question for you.
Mick Cronin.
When was the last? Jay, so Marquette made the Sweet 16 last year. Do you know the last time before last year Shaka Smart made a Sweet 16?
VCU, right? When they
2011, when they went to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Yes. Just in 14 years between coaching VCU, Texas, and Marquette, he didn't make it to a Final Four or to a Sweet 16.
Well, obviously, Indiana basketball's horrible at hiring head coaches, so that make perfect sense.
Bring Tom Crean out of retirement.
He wasn't that bad, was he?
And then they went Archie Miller and then Woodson, right? How long was Miller there?
Oh, Miller, he was at least like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Matt, I love that we both said bring Tom Crean out of retirement at the same time.
I'm disappointed that both of you said it, because I was about to say there's another former Marquette coach that's just out there waiting for a job right now. and that is Tom Crean. Sometimes you got to go back to actually move forward. So
Tom Crean is waiting for the MSU job.
That's true. He's been waiting all his life for that job. So, I mean, he might as well just wait a few more years. This is very much got off the rails. We're 25 minutes in. Haven't even talked.
Can we throw out a Kelvin Sampson reunion?
Might as well. Might as well.
Redemption story.
That's the biggest redemption story we could get out of this Indiana coaching search. Let's get into the Super Bowl because, like I said, we've gotten off the rails. This is what the disaster Indiana basketball is. I don't know if you guys know, but it's the Eagles versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are a 1.5-point favorite. And I don't know if you guys know, but the Chiefs have won 2 straight Super Bowls. I find that a fun fact. So, Jay Walsh, we'll start with you. We'll obviously get into the prop bets in a second. We got a lot to get through. As I just saw, Joe Burrow was named Comeback Player of the Year. That is kind of stupid, but hey, whatever. Your thoughts on this game where the over-under is 48.5?
I feel very similarly to this game or about this game as I did about the AFC Championship game. I feel like on paper, there's not really a question that the Eagles have the better roster. Just like I thought the Bills were the better team on paper, but it's just something about the Chiefs. They're the black magic. I mean, Mahomes is the best quarterback in football, and it's really not even close. Andy Reid, obviously, I mean, best head coach. So I can't even say that I'd love to see the Eagles win because I really don't even like the Eagles, but I don't see it happening. I think the Chiefs pull it out again. I know nobody that isn't a Kansas City Chiefs fan wants to see that, but I just feel like it's inevitable at this point. So I'm going with the Chiefs and the over under. I feel like, I mean, both these teams have very good defenses. So I think the under realistically could hit, but at the same time, I mean, we know that when the Chiefs decide that they want to put up points, they can put up points with anybody. And we all know what the Eagles offense is with Saquon. So I think I'll go with the over in this one.
Jay, we'll go to you next. Jay Walsh mentioned, obviously, the Chiefs have some type of voodoo. I believe she's in the room with Matt right now, but Allie Cohen, friend of the program, just texted me that they have Tay voodoo, which is very true. But Jay, I don't know if you saw the video of Big Dom, the big Italian guy on the Eagles coaching staff. They actually took him to like a voodoo place in New Orleans this weekend. Which voodoo is going to take more effect this weekend?
Oh God. I mean, it's Big Dom versus Taylor Swift at this rate. Oh God. I want the Eagles so bad. I'm sorry. Allie's listening to this. Nothing against Taylor Swift, nothing against the Chiefs. Well, a lot against the Chiefs, but I am taking the Chiefs in this spot because you cannot bet against Mahomes, and I don't think it's a bad matchup for the Eagles, but Chiefs have a great defense. Mahomes is going to put up points. They're going to run the ball pretty effectively. I just think it's kind of just a bad spot here. And Chiefs, like we talked about, the Chiefs getting lucky. They have, but also they just know how to win games. And Mahomes is going to do his thing. I think the Mahomes, like, he's going to get his 4th ring, and he's only 28 years old. I just think the stars are just going to align for them again. And it's also led by their defense. Their defense is really good. It's going to be tough to stop Saquon, but also, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is going to dial some stuff up that, we saw in that AFC Championship that stopped Josh Allen. I think it can happen again. And plus, like, Jalen Hurts had a great NFC Championship, but I don't necessarily trust him in this big of a game necessarily. He's a very solid quarterback, but you just can't bet against Mahomes. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in the spot. I would also take the over, like Jay Walsh said. When the Chiefs want to put up 40, they can. You know, they haven't really needed to use Mahomes that much this season. He's gonna have to carry them that much, and if they need him to, he's gonna do it. So I will take the Chiefs in the spot.
Matt, we'll go to you next. We obviously saw this matchup in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. It was, I believe, 38-35 final score on a field goal that was basically at the last second. The biggest difference, it feels like, between the two teams now and then is obviously Saquon Barkley. But the other factor you kind of have to play into this is you kind of noticed a trend the past few years for a assistant coach, like an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, that has been interviewing for jobs. They usually don't turn out well in their following game. We saw it with the Lions. I can go back to the Super Bowl the Eagles won. Matt Patricia had that Lions job and then let the Eagles and Nick Foles score 42 or something like that. Obviously, 2 years ago, it was, I believe, your coach, Matt, Shane Steichen, lost that game against the Chiefs. The fact that Kellen Moore most likely is getting the Saints job, do you think that plays a factor in the preparation for this game for the Eagles?
I don't think so. You mentioned the game 2 years ago that was down to the wire. What was it, like a hold against Philly? Kind of set up the game-winning field goal for Kansas City to win it, and that was kind of the end of the game. And it was that anticlimactic finish to what was, I think, one of the best Super Bowls we've had as of late. And I think the biggest difference between now and then is I think the Eagles have gotten better, not just with the addition of Saquon Barkley, but I think that defense is better now than it was 2 years ago. And the Chiefs are still doing what the Chiefs do, which is just find ways to win. I think it's going to be a really good game. Honestly, I feel like I don't want to take the over because I feel like the over in these games is always a trap because the public inflates the hell out of it because life is too short to bet the under. So I would stay away from that total. But I'm going to go with the Eagles. Other than no other reason than I like more of their guys. Obviously, I really like Saquon. I like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith a lot. I love their defense and the different athletes they have. I don't like Jalen Hurts. I don't like Sirianni at all. But, hey, I think they get it done. I've been hating on the Eagles all year, and I am finally going to acknowledge the fact that I think they are the best team in the league, top to bottom. And what is their sideline coach's name? Big Dom?
Yeah, Big Dom.
Big Dom. That's literally the Rizzler in 30 years. So that probably sounded really creepy. But yes, so I can't wait to see that TikTok on the field in the confetti when the Rizzler and Big Justice. I don't think they'll be there. But hey, you watched the Super Bowl on Tubi, guys. I don't know if you guys have seen that ad, but
Tubi ad last year.
I don't know how
this is
go ahead, Matt.
This is a disaster. I'm going with the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Go Birds. Firebirds and Eagles in this scenario.
All right. I don't know how to feel about this game. I've kind of hated it since the beginning, which leads me to betting on the Chiefs. At work today, I was asked how good I am on picking like the winner of the Super Bowl, like when we have a matchup. I did the math, and I am 8-2 in the last 10. That means nothing. So I thought it was interesting that I figured that out. But Chiefs, you can't bet against Mahomes. I feel like we've said it all the time. I really don't have any reasoning for it. They'll find a way to win. I'm honestly more excited about the stuff we're about to get into, and that's the prop bets. It's a Super Bowl tradition. We love these. Matt Merrifield, I know you love these, especially for green and white. We've done this sheet for 3 years. I think something like that now. Just a reminder for people, about 3/4 of these are not real prop bets unless you're in Canada. So unless you're crossing the border, these are not real. So please, this is for entertainment purposes only. 1-800-GAMBLER if you are a gambler. So
also, important to note that if you are American, you cannot sports bet in Canada.
This is also
On
true.
your phone.
So
Like, you cannot
do
mobile
not
sports
jump
bet.
the border.
So
Because you will get tariffed. Plus, you might get arrested. So, just saying. Let's get into this. I know Jay Walsh is excited for this one because we already talked about it pre-show. National anthem over under 120.5 seconds. Jay Walsh, I will start with you because up until we talked about it in the pre-show, I had no idea who's doing this national anthem.
Yes, so it is John Batiste, who I don't know his music. I looked him up. He's apparently a 5-time Grammy winner, so good for him. What I know him from is from the Disney Pixar movie Soul, and that's it. So I can't necessarily comment on the fact that, or I can't necessarily comment on his singing style in terms of the over-under here, but I would just like to say that, and I said it in the pre-show, I'll say it again, this number, 120.5, feels irresponsibly low. I feel like pretty much every year the over hits on this number. I feel like it's usually more in the 130 plus range. And until hearing just now that I'll receive a bunch of tariffs if I do what I'm about to say, I was planning on taking a trip over the Ambassador Bridge over to Windsor and placing a bet on this myself for the over. So I will simply just say I am betting the over here just because I think, like I said, this is irresponsibly low for the national anthem. I think this is an absolute lock, which means it's probably going to be an under. But
yeah, shout out the Grammys. I don't know what happened this weekend. That was a disaster. I don't know who half these people are, but shout out the Grateful Dead. They won some type of award. Jay DeCoster, your thoughts on the over-under for the national anthem?
I have no idea who this guy is either, but I feel like every single time in the beginning of the national anthem where they extend the they do it for like 10 seconds. I feel like it's going to happen again, which means it's going to hit, the over is going to hit. So that's my take. There you go.
All right, Matt, your take closing out for the national anthem prop bet.
I would like it known, Jay, that there's on FanDuel, according to this website I found, there is a length over under on the last note sung by John Batiste. It's at 3.5 seconds. How long he hits that note for? I'm going under. Unless John Batiste was the guy at Wrigley Field for the Frozen Confines. Jay, you remember that? That was maybe the longest anthem I've ever seen. I rocked him. I don't believe that's John Batiste. So I'm going under. Keep in mind, 2 years ago, I tracked the national anthem on the Super Bowl Sunday of the Michigan State women's game by the Spartan Brass. It clocked in way under 2 minutes. So just note that for reference, it should be played much quicker than these people are singing it. But hey,
this is very true. What Matt has said, a lot of these people should be singing faster, but they're going to sing slow. I think it's going to probably top out in like the 115 range. So that gives me an under there. I don't know. It feels what?
I'd say 2 years ago at the Breslin Center, the Spartan Brass clocked in at 104.
Okay. That's how quick it should be, but it won't be. So give me the under here because might as well. Let's do coin toss, heads, tails. I mean, it is what it is. The interesting prop bet I found with this also is to win the coin toss and the game, the Chiefs are plus 260. The Eagles are plus 310. Jay DeCoster, do you like any of those odds?
I mean, tails never fails, and then the Chiefs, lock it in. Tails never fails.
Incredible analysis. We can't
I'm just
confirm.
doing incredible takes right now.
Jay, we love it. Matt, does tails ever fail?
It does, but we're not going to get fancy. We're not going to get too cute like Ben Johnson. We're going tails. Run the goddamn ball. Allie says tails too.
Yes.
Jay Walsh, are you closing it out for a sweep for tails?
I am not. I have never been a tails never fails kind of guy. I'm rolling with heads here. I think
Woke left.
you know. I'm going with heads. Not much else needs to be said.
I'll be honest. I was kind of hoping you were going to say tails, Jay Walsh, because I was going to say with a coin flip with the fate of the universe on the line, give me heads. But you already took that. So you know what? Give me heads still. I don't care. Offensive lineman touchdown plus 1,800. Is anybody taking that?
Mike Merrifield said to take it during the Lions Commanders game. He did take it actually with Dan Skipper. He was pissed when he was double teamed in the end zone. Fun fact. He claimed it was rigged. But no, I'm no big men touchdown.
All right. It is a no across the board. Any kick to hit the upright or crossbar, we all love a doink, especially Jay. I know you love a double doink. Also, this is a bad time to say it, but RIP Virginia. RIP Virginia.
I get a double doink reference. Like, I mean, what did I do to deserve that?
I have to bring Virginia in somewhere.
Shout out Cody Parkey.
Jay, were all the flags in Chicago flown at half mast today?
I have no idea. I did not look at a single flag today because it's pitch black out when I get out of the office. So lovely. No, I'm sure it is up in Hallis Hall though. She saw last Packers victory for the first time in 8 years, I believe.
Okay, you don't have to rub it in, Jay. We get it.
For this bet,
are we taking an upright hit or not?
No.
Does it have to miss? Like, can it hit the upright and still go in? Because if so, I'm taking yes. Then yes, give me yes.
Okay,
I'll take those odds at plus 550.
I'm also gonna go with yes on that.
All right. Jay Walsh, I'll let you take over this one for the halftime props because I got no idea any of these songs. So,
all right. In terms of the first song, I think Not Like Us is very bad money here. I'll get to that a little bit later, when we get to the last song. A lot of these I feel like are good kind of middle songs. I'd probably go with Humble as the first song pick just because, it's one of his more well-known songs at this point. So he's got to pander to the audience, the people like Nick Burt who don't listen to Kendrick Lamar, to kind of bring the attention in. I don't necessarily love that bet, but I feel like of the songs that we've got here, I feel like it's the best bet that we've got. So Jay, we will go to you here. What are your thoughts on the first song?
Yeah, probably. I'm not gonna go Not Like Us. That's for later. I probably go Humble as well. I feel like that's just one of his, like you said, one of his more popular songs. Obviously, it won't be the other ones like DNA like that. That'll be like for the middle. So I'll go Humble as well.
Mr. Merrifield, what are your thoughts?
I feel like I believe he opened with Humble when he did the halftime. You can't see me doing air quotes. The halftime show of the first, or not the first national championship game of the college football playoff, but I vividly remember him doing a halftime show outside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta during Alabama, Georgia. And fun fact, Jalen Hurts played quarterback in that game and got hurt. So will Nate, whoever the backup is for the Eagles, come in and save the day? Maybe not, probably not. Yeah. Oh Jesus, I forgot it was Kenny Pickett. Never mind. But I'm going. I believe it'll be Humble. But we have a question from Miss Allie Cohen for you, Nick.
Nick, are you putting your money on surprise appearance for Bad Blood? Because one of my professors told me it's a lot going to happen, and I told him if I could find a real prop bet for it, I would put money on it for him.
No, it's not happening.
You don't think it's going to happen, but she loves to make things about her, and she is in the building.
I think
coming from another person who loves to make things about them.
I think the easiest way to tell if it's going to happen is if we go the last at least 5 minutes of the second quarter and she isn't shown on the screen.
Yeah, with no shots of her.
No, because
if she's not shown on the screen
already.
No.
They got the double.
That's what
They got
I
the
was
stun
thinking.
double.
I was like, it just depends how many commercials.
I don't know. That's not going to happen. More importantly, I just watched Michigan State softball hit a grand slam. The score's now 6-1, second inning. MSU softball back. Taylor Swift not performing the halftime show. Jay Walsh, let's get back to the other halftime show prop bets because I still have. Is there a song where he screams mustard?
Yes.
Okay.
Nick Burt, I will just give you a quick opportunity. Obviously, I mean, you've said you don't listen to Kendrick, you don't know these songs, but you want to just take a wild play here at any of the songs we've got listed?
Sure. We'll go Squabble Up.
Squabble
No
Up.
idea what that is, but
heard it here first, folks. Squabble Up opening up the halftime set. We will move on to the last song. Mr. Matt Merrifield, what are you thinking for the last song?
They Not Like Us. Next question. They
That
Not Like
is-
Us. We all know that's how he's going to end it.
Yeah. I do
And then
feel
you're
like
going
we
to
all...
have all the pedophiles in LA or all the pedophile celebrities singing it too. So
Nick, you wanna take a stab at this one?
well, everybody's riding the Not Like Us train. I've never heard the song, I don't think. So
Okay.
sure. Why not?
Nick,
Actually,
Nick,
no. I lied. I heard it on the radio yesterday at work. It was that SpongeBob meme where he's like in the dark tunnel. That's how I felt listening to that song.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm gonna call BS that you had never heard it. I know you don't listen to Kendrick, but there's no way that any reasonable human being has not heard that song at this point. But I'm glad you're making the correct choice, Mr. DeCoster. What are we thinking?
Yeah, They Not Like Us. I mean, I thought Nick was gonna go TV off, but you know, I mean, I know he knows that song, but you know, I mean, Nick just, he's about to absorb himself in some Kendrick Lamar. It's gonna be glorious.
You will hear They Not Like Us in the Breslin Center on Saturday. So
Oh boy, I can't wait.
God.
so it will be played.
I don't know what this. I will mention.
And
I
it's
don't know
not by
what this,
DJ Chosen. Where's DJ Chosen?
It is not. He has been asked to leave and never return to the Breslin Center. Fun fact.
Okay. I will say I don't know what this TV off thing is, but that's what I do when Tottenham Hotspur concede. And I just scream at it. Jay Walsh, let's keep going.
But do you scream mustard?
No,
Anyway.
I don't.
All right, let's keep this going. Not Like Us, free money. Not much else to say. Everyone in LA is going to be calling Drake a pedophile. It's going to be beautiful. We'll move on to halftime songs over under 10.5. We got over with plus 100 odds, under minus 122. Mr. DeCoster, what are we thinking about this one?
I'd probably go under. I mean, that's 11's that's a lot. I mean, unless he's obviously going to do it in like 30-second to minute interviews, that's a ton. So I'll go under.
Matt?
I feel like that's way too many songs for what, a 12, 13-minute set. So I guess I'm going to go under. But my thing is, and this is no hate to Kendrick, because I know he has plenty of avid fans out there. I think he's all right. I don't think he's good for a concert, but I could be wrong. But I feel like his music isn't concert music. That doesn't mean his music isn't good, but that's a whole different argument. I guess that doesn't apply. I just feel like that needs to be said. No disrespect to Mr. Kendrick Lamar. He is a very good musician. But anyways, but I go under.
For sure. Nick, you want to take a stab at this one too?
I'm just going to go under because I feel like really the only time that like an over like that would hit would be if you had something like they did with the LA Super Bowl where it was like Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and there were like 3 other people that I don't remember. Like that is when it could make sense for a 10.5. I believe Kendrick is the only person doing this. I don't know. Give me the under.
Well, SZA and Taylor Swift will be there. So
Who? SZA? Who is this?
All right. Before Nick Burke gets introduced to any other music artists, we'll move on.
Ice shows up.
I also like the under here. I do think it's an interesting pick just because, I mean, obviously they're playing shortened versions of all the songs. So in that 12, 13 minutes, you could fit in potentially 11 songs. And obviously if we do get a surprise Taylor Swift appearance, it will, she'll probably get a song or two in there, but I like the under here. In terms of this one doesn't really still apply to the halftime show, but I'm sure, Nick, you probably want me to take this one as well because I'm sure that you're probably not a big Drake fan, which at this point
Canadian.
might be a good thing.
I know that.
Will Drake release a song on Super Bowl Sunday to take some of the heat off of himself for being called a pedophile during the halftime show? Matt Merrifield, what are we thinking?
No, I don't think he released the song. I don't like the odds, but I would stay away from it.
For sure. Nick Burt, do you see Drizzy dropping on Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, I saw a picture of him last week. He was like in Australia wearing a St. Louis Billikens jersey. That has nothing to do with this, so no.
That is just phenomenal analysis right there. No notes. Jay DeCoster, what are you thinking?
No, because he's not washed. I like him, but he's not. No, absolutely not. Kendrick owns him. Next question.
I think Drake would be petty enough to do this and mistaken enough to do this. I don't necessarily like the odds, like Matt said. I think if there was a little bit more value here on the yes, I think I would throw a couple schmeckles on it. But I would have to go with no with these odds just because I don't know. I don't feel like it's super reasonable, but Drake could do it because he's weird. On that note, I will turn it back over to Nick Burt now that we're back in the prop bets that he knows who the people are.
This is true. We are now moving on to the fans section, famous fans. One of them is the brother of a football player in this game that played for the other team. That is Jason Kelce. I don't know what they're technically specifying for point here, but it just was what clothing will Jason Kelce be wearing? Eagles, no team, or Chiefs. Eagles minus 146, no team plus 164, Chiefs plus 430. I'm just going to assume that's during game time. That's usually what all these prop bets are. It's usually from kickoff till the clock hits 0. Jay Walsh, which one will Jason Kelce be wearing on Sunday?
I think it'll definitely be Eagles. I mean, he's definitely been, very supportive of Travis, obviously, but when they're playing against the Eagles, I think it's a different thing. I think the real money play here is Kylie Kelce will absolutely be wearing Eagles gear because I think she hates the Chiefs. They showed up. I forget what game it was, but there was a game this year that Jason and Kylie Kelce were both there, and Jason was decked out in Chiefs gear, and Kylie was wearing. I don't know if she was wearing Eagles gear, but she was not wearing Chiefs gear. So I think she very much does not like them. She will absolutely be wearing the Eagles, but I think Jason will be as well.
Jay, we'll go to you next. Your thoughts here on the clothing wear.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be the Eagles. I mean, because he always wears I don't know, there's been times where we wore that green that green sweater or something, dress samples like Tony Soprano or something. You probably know what I'm talking about, but I feel like he'll go decked out in that or something like that. Just because Jason Kelce, I don't know. I have no comment, but I'll go Eagles, I guess.
Matt, your thoughts here on this prop bet?
Can I get a flash odds on whether or not he ends up shirtless at some point? I'll take those odds.
We'll do minus 150.
The minus what? I won't take it at that point, but I think he'll go neutral, to be honest, if I had to place a bet on the 3. So especially at the best odds, no jersey, no logo. Yeah, I'll go plus 164. I definitely like those odds the best because it has to be a logo. Like he could wear green for the Eagles, but not be wearing Eagle merch. So
yes, that would technically be correct. So honestly, the no team.
No logo.
Yeah. No team is the value play here. I like it. Let's move on to everybody's favorite rumored halftime surprise show performer, Taylor Swift. We're going to do total TV appearances over under 12 and a half seconds because you got to remember, you only get like 1 second snippets when Travis Kelce scores. So got to factor that in. Jay DeCoster, what are you thinking here? Over or under 12 and a half seconds?
I'm going to go, well, if the Chiefs win, then
Jay, you got to remember, it ends at 0 when the clock hits 0. So anything post game.
Okay. I'll go under then. I just think it's a lot. Like the NFL loves her, but that's just way too much. I'll go under.
Matt, we'll move on to you. Your thoughts here.
I feel like the plus money is trying to bait people, and I don't think they realize how long it is. So I'm going to go under. It's going to be close, but I'm going under.
Under does kind of feel like it is the play here. Jay Walsh, are you going to close it out with an under?
I am not, simply because I think what you're forgetting about is a lot of the times they like to show slow-mo replays of Taylor Swift celebrating Travis moments. And I think those can easily add up to 12 and a half seconds. So I'm going to go with the over here. And especially if we do get a surprise halftime performance, that right there is going to lock in the over. So I am going to go over 12 and a half here.
That is true. If you factor in the surprise halftime performance, that's a very easy over. More TV appearances. We'll do Jason Kelce and Taylor Swift. Now you got to remember, most likely they're going to be in the same box. So you are going to have to factor if, each one of them gets some type of off time from the other. Matt, which one do you like here in more TV appearances?
I will go with Taylor Swift, even though I don't like the odds on this one either way. I think it'll be pretty even because they're probably gonna be sitting next to each other. So I feel like if you see one, you're gonna see the other. But I'll go Taylor, I guess.
Jay Walsh, your thoughts?
I'm kind of leaning the same way. It does just feel like every time one gets shown, the other's gonna be there. So I think obviously the more value here is Jason, just because of the odds that we've got here at plus 400. But I would say Taylor Swift probably has more of a chance of being shown, just because every time Travis does something, they're going to zoom in on her. And I think there's a chance they'll get a couple shots without Jason in the background. So I think Taylor Swift is the play here.
Jay, are you going to sweep it out here?
Yeah, Taylor Swift as well. I think it's an obvious choice for me.
All right, let's move on. This fun prop bet here, power outage. Obviously, last time they were in New Orleans, we had the power outage after the halftime. Yes, I think I messed up these odds. Yes is not minus 2,500. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be plus 870. No is supposed to be minus 2,500. Jay Walsh, will go to you first. Yeah,
I was gonna say that was pretty outlandish odds for a power outage in the Super Bowl, considering I think it has only happened once. But I'm gonna go ahead and say no here, just because I don't think lightning is gonna strike twice. I think they are well aware of the fact that the last time it happened, it was in New Orleans. So I think they are going to be all over it. I'm going to go ahead and say no on this one.
Jay, are you also going no here?
No, unless the Chiefs are down they're down 21-0 in the second quarter, and Roger Goodell says, "Hey, I need a little bit of go up and cue the lights, please." Yeah, that's what will happen. So no.
Matt, is Kendrick Lamar going to have the power break in New Orleans?
awesome.
I think that the New Orleans Super Bowl was the one, the Ravens and Niners was in New Orleans, correct? When the power outage happened. I think they've learned their lesson. I'll go no.
I mean, this is a pretty outlandish one to bet yes on. Like you're kind of just wasting money if you bet yes. But hey, 1-800-GAMBLER, it's always there for you. Let's move on. Gatorade color in that post-game Gatorade bath. Orange plus 250, blue plus 350, yellow/green plus 400, red plus 500, purple plus 700, and clear/water plus 900. Jay DeCoster, your pick for the Gatorade bath color.
Well, last two Super Bowls, Nick, would you mind giving me a stat of what were the last two that the Chiefs won in? Was it purple?
I believe it was purple last year, and it was orange the year before that. And then the one where they beat the 49ers, I believe it was orange also.
Okay, well, I'm going to go I'll go red then, because I feel like they're going to switch it up here. I'll go red.
Matt, what is your pick for Gatorade color in the post-game bath?
I like purple because I feel like the Eagles will go purple if they win, and obviously the Chiefs went with it last year. I feel like if the plus 700. Also, this is like finding a needle in a haystack with this one. You truly don't know, especially because the Chiefs switched up last year. So I like purple here. I like the odds.
Jay Walsh, your thoughts on colors?
I mean, obviously, this is kind of a shot in the dark. I feel like yellow/green is a good value play here. You know, the original. I feel like there's a decent shot that both of these teams could be rolling with the OG in the Super Bowl. So I'm going with yellow-green at plus 400 here.
And I will close it out. I will take the favorite orange at plus 250. Our last prop bet of the Super Bowl is there going to be a scoregami? Yes is plus 2,000. Matt, we'll start with you. Are we getting a scoregami in this game?
No, we are not getting a scoregami, unfortunately.
Jay Walsh?
I'm going to go ahead and say no, just because, I mean, there's not really any great scoregamis left at this point, obviously. So, yeah, I'm going to say no.
Jay,
No,
are we closing it out with no's?
Yeah, no for me as well.
I concur. I will go with no. We now move on. Honestly, this is my favorite segment to do. It's the Puppy Bowl odds. Puppy Bowl 21 on the Animal Planet, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe. Team Rough once again opens up as a 9.5-point favorite. The over-under is 140.5. Jay Walsh, we will go to you first. Your thoughts on the Puppy Bowl this year?
Well, I mean, if we're being real, this is the big sporting event of the weekend. There's no question. This is the way to go. I am rocking with, you know what? I'll go with the underdogs. I'll go with Team Fluff here, plus 9.5. I feel like, we're going with the underdogs. Everyone likes an underdog. Nobody likes the favorites coming in. So I'm going with Team Fluff. I like the over here at 140.5. I feel like the over is reasonably reliable in the Puppy Bowl. So I'm going Team Fluff plus 9.5 and over 140.5.
Jay, your first initial thoughts on Puppy Bowl odds this year?
Is it bad that I've never watched this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll take the 9.5 easy, and I'll take the over. That's free money. There you go.
Matt, we'll go to you.
You have disgraced Sports Perspectives.
I look like a dog hater right now. This is sad.
This is true. You very much
certified hater of dogs.
Yes. Matt, your thoughts on the Puppy Bowl odds? Is Team Ruff going to make it a three-peat this year?
No, I think Team Fluff finally gets it done this year.
That's a real shame because Team Ruff is stacked this year. I texted Matt this list. I mean, all these people are MVP odds worthy. They have a dog named Bo, after Bo Nix, obviously. They have a German Shepherd. Shout out German Shepherds because I have 2 of them. They have a dog named Ivy. Shout out Ivy. I have a German Shepherd dog named Ivy. They have a dog with wheels, could run over a lot of dogs. And they have a dog named Ollie, named after, obviously, the greatest UConn head coach of all time, Kevin Ollie. Give me Team Ruff by a million. I also did forget they have the odds-on favorite to win the MVP, Saquon Barkley. I mean, you can't go against Team Ruff in this one. If you look at the MVP odds, Jolene is plus 600. Paws Allen for Team Fluff is plus 700. It is a wild list. Mr. Pickles is plus 1,600. Queenie plus 2,000. Do any of these have odds for any of you? I don't know if we've lost Matt, but Jay, we'll just start with you.
You know what? I'll take Paws Allen from Fluff. I like those odds are decent there. I'll take the 700 there. So I'll go Paws Allen. And there goes Matt. Continue.
Jay Walsh, give us some odds, your thoughts on this just immaculate MVP race.
You know, like I said, I like Team Fluff here, so I feel like the MVP has to come from Team Fluff. I don't necessarily like the value on Paws Allen. I mean, he's definitely the favorite from the team, but at plus 700, I feel like you can get a little bit better in terms of the value. I like Huxley here at plus 1,200. You know, he's a scrappy guy. You know, I could see him getting himself a lot of points today or on during the Puppy Bowl. So I'm rolling with Huxley plus 1,200 here, as we still don't have a Matt Merrifield returning yet.
Yeah, I kind of got a feeling he may never come back, but hey, he just couldn't pick an MVP. It's so tough, this race. Honestly, like Travis at plus 1,300, that's kind of value play. But you got to factor in this is also a fan vote. So fans are going to vote for like the most annoying dog possible, which could be Queenie, which obviously, given the name, is a corgi named after obviously Queen Elizabeth, dearly departed. She is now confirmed in a box, sadly. She's right alongside Virginia McCaskey. So they're flying high in the skies. Yeah. I don't know. I'm rambling on here. I was hoping to ask Matt Merrifield about the Bean Pot final on Monday. So I'm just going to ask you two. Who's winning the Bean Pot, Boston College or Boston University? Jay, give us a pick.
Boston College, just because, I don't know. Who's the better team this year? I know my college hockey so well.
Boston College is the number 1 team in the nation.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. Next question. Then it's Boston College.
Jay Walsh, your pick for the Bean Pot final.
So I know that BC is, you know, the number 1 team. Obviously had the good series against MSU not too long ago where they took that number 1 spot. There's a guy at my work named Chad Schweitzer. Shout out Chad Schweitzer. His son played hockey at BU. He's a big BU hockey guy. I feel like he would be very upset with me if I took BC here. So I'm rolling with the Terriers. Give me BU in the upset.
I watched both games on Monday night, the semis, when Boston University beat Harvard 7-1, and then Boston College beat me and Matt's Northeastern 8-2. Both games, absolute disasters. And you will never see me pick a team that chose TV money over the Big East Conference. So give me Boston University, give me the Terriers. Shout out the Big East. Those teams that left for TV money, they had a really stellar night in basketball last night. Hey, but that's what they did it for. I hope that money is enjoyable. I'm rambling on again. So we're gonna cut it here. We're at 110. This has been an incredible show that went off the rails multiple times. Jay Walsh,
I would venture to say that I don't mean to cut you off there, but I would
good.
venture to say that we may have been off the rails more than we were on in this show. This was something.
This is very true. Whatever the Department of Transportation that deals with train wrecks, they need to be called in for this show because it was a disaster at many points, but we still got through it all. Jay DeCoster, do you have any final thoughts here?
I don't want to keep this too long. We'll talk about this after, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame just got announced, and I'll tell you right now, it is Jared Allen, Sterling Sharp, Eric Allen, and Antonio Gates. No Eli Manning, Eli's going to get in eventually, but like he's got 2 rings and more than all 3 of those guys. Like 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
It is I will die on the hill that Eli Manning belongs in the Hall of Fame. That is my big argument. I know a lot of people are very passionate in the opposite direction. The dude beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. That's all you need to say. Belongs in the Hall.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised that he didn't make it first ballot. It also, like, I don't know if it's just me, but 4 inductions this year feels like a lot less than what they usually do. Did they change the rules? Because this feels like a lot less than normal.
I know this is a kicker, but Adam Vinatieri, one of the best kickers of all time. How is he not in yet?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a kicker. Luke Kuechly should get in eventually. Steve Smith, maybe. I would say, I don't know. That's eventually. He had a hell of a career, but Eli was like very surprising.
Yeah,
and I don't want to segue the conversation here, but speaking of kicking and Eli Manning, I am honestly shocked and kind of appalled that we didn't have Kick of Destiny odds in the show docket tonight.
Honestly, I kind of forgot about it. Let's just do it right now. Kick of Destiny. I don't. What are the odds? I don't know. Just pick somebody.
Honestly, I haven't even been paying that much attention to it. I think it's up to either Peyton or Eli is going to kick it. I'm going to roll with Eli here. And I think he will not make it. I think he will continue the streak of not making the Kick of Destiny.
All right, Jay, pick somebody.
I'm really sorry. I was sidetracked there. Who are the guys?
Peyton and Eli.
Oh, I'll go Peyton. I like Peyton more. So
you think he makes it?
Yes.
I don't know because I just got distracted because Arizona just tied this game up at 6. So it's going downhill fast for Michigan State. Give me Eli to make it. Why not? Sure. I don't know. Does anybody have any parting thoughts before we wrap up?
I'm done now.
Okay.
This was an excellent show.
Yes, I agree. This honestly, if we could submit these for awards, this would be the one.
Absolutely. This episode right here deserves an Emmy at least.
100%. Give it an Emmy, a Grammy, a Tony, all the awards, Golden Globe,
Oscar. Give us an EGOT. Just give it to us.
An MAB.
Yeah.
Might as well. All of them. This is the pinnacle of everything here. This is what it was. So that we're just going to wrap it up there because it was incredible. So for Justin Walsh, Jay DeCoster, Matt Merrifield, who's gone, and our somewhat special guest, Allie Cohen, both of them dearly departed because Matt Merrifield's camera doesn't work. Shout out Wrigley Field for taking its soul. That was the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. We'll be back next week. College basketball talk, sure. Maybe we'll talk some hockey. I don't know. We'll figure it out then. We'll see you back here next week. As mentioned previously, if you want to see a recap of how Tottenham Hotspur lost in the Carabao Cup today, check out Top of the Perch here on the Nick Bird Sports Network. So for all of us here, thank you so much for watching. We will see you again next week for another episode of the Merrifield Sportsbook Show.